you are building a dataset from a JSON file that contains an array of documents. You need to import attributes as columns from all the documents in the JSON file. The solution must ensure that data attributes can be used as data hierarchies in Microsoft Power BI reports. Which three actions should you perform in sequence? A. Expand the columns. B. Expand the records. C. Add columns that use data type conversions. D. Set the data types. E. Convert the list to a table. The three actions to perform in sequence are: E. Convert the list to a table. A. Expand the column. D. Set the data types. You create the following step by using Power Query Editor. Table.replace value, sales LT_address, 1318, 1319, replace a .replace text, address line 1, a row has a value of 21,318 LaSalle Street in the address line 1 column. What will the value be when the step is applied? A. 1318, B. 1319, C. 21,318 LaSalle Street, D. 21,319 LaSalle Street. The value will be D. 21,319 LaSalle Street. You have Microsoft Power BI report. The size of the PIX file is 550 megabytes. The report is accessed by using an app workspace in the shared capacity of powerbi.com. The report uses an imported dataset that contains one fact table. The fact table contains 12 million rows. The dataset is scheduled to refresh twice a day at 8 o'clock and 1700 hours. The report is a single page that contains 15 app source visuals and 10 default visuals. Users say that the report is slow to load the visuals when they access and interact with the report. You need to recommend a solution to improve the performance of the report. What should you recommend? A. Increase the number of times that the dataset is refreshed. B. Split the visuals onto multiple pages. C. Change the imported dataset to direct query. D. Implement row-level security, RLS. You should recommend to B. Split the visuals onto multiple pages. You create a dashboard by using the Microsoft Power BI service. The dashboard contains a card visual that shows total sales from the current year. You grant users access to the dashboard by using the viewer role on the workspace. A user wants to receive daily notifications of the number shown on the card visual. You need to automate the notifications. What should you do? A. Create a data alert. B. Share the dashboard with the user. C. Create a subscription. D. Tag the user in a comment. You should use the option C. Create a subscription to get the daily notifications. You are modeling data by using Microsoft Power BI. Part of the data model is a large Microsoft SQL Server table named Order that has more than 100 million records. During the development process, you need to import a sample of the data from the order table. What should you do? A. From Power Query Editor, you import the table and then add a filter step to the query. B. You add a where clause to the SQL statement. C. You add a report level filter that filters based on the order date. D. You write a DAX expression that uses the filter function. B. You add a where clause to the SQL statement. You create a parameter named data source Excel that holds the file name and location of a Microsoft Excel data source. You need to update the query to reference the parameter instead of multiple hard-coded copies of the location within each query definition. What are your options? A. In the Power Query M code, you replace references to the Excel file with data source Excel. B. You modify the source step of the queries to use data source Excel as the file path. C. You create a new query that references data source Excel. The options should be: A. In the Power Query M code, you replace references to the Excel file with data source Excel. B. You modify the source step of the queries to use data source Excel as the file path. You have a Power BI dashboard that monitors the quality of manufacturing processes. The dashboard contains the following elements: a line chart that shows the number of defective products manufactured by day, a KPI visual that shows the current daily percentage of defective products manufactured. You need to be notified when the daily percentage of defective products manufactured exceeds 3%. What should you create? A. A Q&A visual. B. A subscription. C. A smart narrative visual. D. An alert. You should create D. An alert. You are reviewing a query that produces 10,000 rows in the Power Query Editor. You need to identify whether a column contains only unique values. Which two data preview options can you use? A. Column profile. B. Column distribution. C. Show white space. D. Column quality. E. Monospaced. Both date preview options to be used for the above purpose are A. Column profile. B. Column distribution. You have two Azure SQL databases that contain the same tables and columns. For each database, you create a query that retrieves data from a table named customer. You need to determine the customer tables into a single table. The solution must minimize the size of the data model and support scheduled refresh in Power BI.com. What should you do? A. Use append queries to combine the customer tables. B. Use append queries as new to combine the customer tables. C. Use merge queries to combine the customer tables. D. Use merge queries as new to combine the customer tables. You should B. Use append queries as new to combine the customer tables. You have a custom connector that returns ID, from, to, subject, body, and has attachments for every email sent during the past year. More than 10 million records are returned. You build a report analyzing the internal networks of employees based on whom they send emails to. You need to prevent report recipients from reading the analyzed emails. The solution must minimize the model size. What should you do? A. Implement row-level security, RLS, so that the report recipients can only see results based on the emails they sent. B. Remove the subject and body columns during the import. C. From model view, set the subject and body columns to hidden. You should remove the subject and body columns during the import.